And we're live.
Shut up. That's so cringy.
It's like this. It's not cringy when Nick says it. In 3, 2, 1. Hey guys.
Ew, that's so nasty. No, we're just gonna say 5, 4, 3, 2. Welcome to Raise Our Voices, where we talk about what's up with the world. Hello, my name is Isabella Lee. I'm a junior.
My name is Michelle Chan. I'm a senior.
And I'm Annie Chen. I'm also a senior.
And I'm Grace Lynn, and I'm a sophomore.
And today I'll be handing off... Sorry, I dropped my phone. Today I'll be handing off the hosting to Michelle Chan, who is also our vice president of Raise.
Yay!
Yay!
Thanks,
Today.
Isabella Lee.
But first, let me introduce our topic. Our topic is, how is the college application process affecting mental health in teenagers? Whew, I'm sure we all know a lot about this topic, but mostly from our seniors, which is why they will be taking the stage today.
Cool.
Yeah, literally decisions are coming out now, so we're really in the middle of that application process for college. I just want to give some context that we are living in Diamond Bar, an upper middle class area, suburban area, and everyone's hella studious, very academically competitive. So that's just some context on our backgrounds as students and as people currently going through the college application process. Can I start off with some statistics?
Oh, yeah, go for it.
Okay. So first of all, from 2017 to 2022, I looked at kind of the admission rates for colleges. For example, Boston University went from 32% to 17%, which is, crazy. Johns Hopkins went from 12% to 6.5%, and UCLA went from 16% to 8.5%. And that's just to show you how, 5-year difference, it can make a big difference. Everyone is, everyone's just struggling right now, and colleges are more selective than ever. Do you have any questions we can start off with?
I mean, I just want to add on more to that, because I feel like back then it was also laid out, the process of getting into these colleges. You just need to have good grades, be a good student. But now people are having to find ways that make them unique or stand out to college admission officers, and that just makes the process so much more tiring to do, because it's not something where you can just live your life, your high school life, and be good with it. Now you have to actually think it through and have a motivation to get into it. And I mean, a motivation to get into it was always there, but now it's even more of a motivation, and it's one that can really stress you out. And I just feel like that's really really toxic. But I don't want to say toxic, because I feel like toxic's kind of a strong word, but toxic.
And I swear, all the colleges, they, every website says a different thing for oh, here's some tips on how to get into college, but then every website says a different thing, and the colleges are just not transparent about what they want when selecting a student. So it's very hard, because you're just left there to guess and check and kind of see, you just live your life and then see if it makes you successful. So that's pretty crazy.
I mean, one thing that I'm kind of curious about between all of you guys is, I know you're a sophomore, but have you started your application preparations yet?
Not so much as the actual applications, but just a lot of thinking and a lot of researching about colleges and what direction I want to go to in the future. Because I feel like when you have a direction, it's easier to prepare for college, because you know what classes you're going to take in high school that'll help you get into the program that you want to get into in college. For example, if I want to go into tech related things, I would take AP Comp Sci, maybe Brahma Tech, or AP Comp Sci A, any STEM related classes. But when you're not going to a STEM program, it's there's not as much pressure to do well in STEM related classes as there is if you were going to. I would just take maybe regular science classes, and I don't have to worry about colleges thinking I'm not as good as other students.
Yeah, I remember feeling that, and I still do feel that pressure of like what classes I should take, because it's really like I look at all my other friends and I don't know if they already have their life planned out or not, but they just seem to be taking regular classes or just like easier classes, and they're having the time of their life and like getting, I don't know, easy A's. But then I'm here sitting here like, oh, is that better, or should I be taking harder classes and, you know, being more stressed but hopefully getting better results in the long run? But, you know, I don't really know. What do you guys think, since you guys already went through your process?
Something you just said maybe reminded me of, a class we're both taking, AP Econ. It's the choice of, like, your decisions, right? And, when you go through high school, it's super true that, all your decisions will affect the future, but, like, that doesn't mean that it's going to impact it negatively or positively. It's just going to send you on a different path.
That's true.
Yeah. A little bit about me, I have done a good amount of extracurriculars in high school, but then I kind of am a procrastinator, so I procrastinated on the college application process. So part of me, it felt like, all my hard work was wasted. But then I think that because I was actually doing my activities because I enjoyed them, it felt like less bad that I didn't do so well on my college applications. Yeah. How about you, Annie?
You said something about being stressed that you're not taking enough, like, AP classes or something like that. I feel like that's just the mindset of people in our area, because I have some friends from, like, I guess outside this area that they're just taking, like, the most basic classes just to get by, like, just to get their credits in, right? And I feel like they're doing pretty good, and, like, it could also be our school district. But either way, I feel like it's the community you live in. Like, everyone's doing what they can to get by, honestly. And everyone's doing the best they can.
It's the people you surround yourself with, too, because there's little microcosms within our school as well, where some people are less stressed about it, and then some people are like, oh, if you're not taking, 3 STEM classes and, like, 2 math classes, then you're, like, failing at life. Mm-hmm. And I feel like there's this very strong mindset at our school where the harder of classes you take, the more successful you'll be in the future. Or, like, there's this correlation when I think that people are very, like, sometimes they can keep, like, a narrow-minded, like, tunnel vision mindset, and in reality, like, whatever path you take or whatever courses and decisions you make now, like, you will end up with some type of, like, successful path in the future as long as you try hard. And I think that, like, most people going through the college application process just kind of forget about that fact, and they dig themselves into this hole, and they just, like, tunnel vision, keep going forward, and they don't stop and think, how is this affecting my mental health? How is this affecting my happiness in my current state? And in 5 years, will I actually enjoy my high school life, or will I, look back and regret not going to a school event or not going to, like, a school dance,
Yeah, and I feel like that's really such a huge mentality, or, like, something that everyone needs to hear is that we live, especially if you're in America, we live in a land of opportunities, and it's not the end of the world if you can't get into, like, a top Ivy or a top college. And I feel like this mentality needs to be told to more people, because like my mom has told me before, you need to have trust and believe in a lot of different people, because you never know if they might be successful in the future. They might not have, like, the best grades right now, but they might become a top athlete, or they could become someone who, makes a big change in the world. You really have to just believe in everyone, and that also goes for believing in yourself. If you're not the top student, you shouldn't say that that's the end of the world. Maybe look towards something that you're passionate about, and you can make just as equally as a big difference, if not bigger, than someone who was crammed in the room studying all day.
Right. Yeah. And, well, to be fair, we are speaking from a place of like privilege where we don't have, or most of us don't have a big outside stressor. You know, we don't have to stress about, oh, I have to work 2 jobs to make sure my family can stay afloat. And there's a lot of disparity with lack of resources in terms of like different financial classes, since, you know, even though some of us might, like, a lot of our friends go to college counseling and stuff like that, right? But even if we don't go to college counseling and we don't immediately seek out like college resources on our own, we still get it from like our like peers and stuff, just from hearing it from passing. So do want to acknowledge that. Do we want to talk about some of the reasons why people might be stressed other than grades? Like, I wrote in my notes, like, you know, first of all, people are really stressed. For example, seniors right now, we're really stressed during the waiting time period.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you submitted and you're like, my future is in the hands of someone else now. Like,
Yeah.
I
you
feel
know,
like
and
applications weren't as bad as just like anticipating like your results from
Right.
colleges. Like, I don't know. Like, some colleges will send out like, oh, we'll send out results by like this day, or they'll come out on this day. And then I think one of the colleges were like, they literally gave us like the times by last name, and I was like, oh. And it's just like, I don't know. Honestly, it feels kind of surreal sometimes. Just like senior year in general. But like the application process, it's a lot of stress. Like, not the process. Like, just waiting for your results is so much stress. And like, and then you hear everyone talking about it at school. I know when like UC Riverside came out, literally 90% of the conversation I was hearing was, did you get into UC Riverside? Or like, did you get into UCR? And then there was like 1 or 2 people who didn't get in, and like I got in, but like I felt so bad for like, and people were like, oh, I heard like one person, like this person didn't get in, and I was like,
Yeah.
like, that sucks. That really sucks.
The
Especially if they
gossiping
were
really is like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it also like, it hurts because a lot of people are like, they have like one college that they want to go to, and like when they get rejected, it's just like, oh, my life is just completely falling apart. You know?
Actually, connecting to that, like, I feel like one question we always hear during, like, from the start of the summer before senior year is, what's your dream college?
Yeah.
This question is literally like every time. I'm like, I know a lot of people have a dream college and a lot of people have a place in mind that they want to go from early on, but I didn't really have one. And I was kind of, you know, thinking about like, oh, every time someone asks me this question, like it's weird that I don't have an answer, but then at the same time, I just don't have an answer. Like, I just want to see what paths open up for me, then take a path. And like, I feel like this type of mindset or this type of question, it kind of perpetuates like there is only one right college for you, when that's actually not true. And you know, you could go to trade school, you could go to university, you could go out of state. Like, there's so many different directions you could take, but this kind of puts people in like like only one school is right for me. And then if they get rejected, God forbid, then, you know, they don't know what to do anymore, and they're depressed, they're disappointed in themselves. They see that as a measure of their self-worth, and then now they don't, you know, their pride is down, their self-esteem is down, and it's kind of crazy. Like, it's you in your brain as a teenager, full of like rising and going down like hormones. You're like, your brain is just like, if I don't get into this college, I am like, I don't respect myself anymore, or like things like that.
Yeah.
Like, that's so crazy because, you know, it's an important part of your life, but like that should not be like the main, you know, thing that you put your self-worth on.
yeah, I feel like that question is really like, it's really sad, because if someone does have an answer, it kind of, not only like for that person, it creates that kind of standard like you were talking about for themselves, but also to other people. Once they hear your answer, they have a sort of standard that they set for you, and then it's like, if they ask you again later, oh, so did you get into your dream college, and you say no, then, you know, all of a sudden their viewpoint of you just kind of shifts. I feel like
I was thinking about this the other day. I feel like getting into like colleges, it's kind of like buying like designer purses in a way. Like, I feel like a lot of people want to get into a college with like a name brand, quote unquote,
Yeah.
Because like say, like even just the UCs, like if you go to Riverside versus like LA,
Mm-hmm.
if you go to LA, people are like, oh, she got like a Gucci bag,
Yeah.
right? And then if you go to like Riverside,
Okay, let's not
people
put it on a...
I don't know. This is like this. I was just thinking about this last
Yeah,
night because
yeah.
I couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
And then it's like, you know, there's
Yeah.
like
People
people
put it
like
on their
rank
social.
things.
Yeah.
Like it's not even because I feel like sometimes colleges like, oh, okay, I worded that wrong. Colleges are not based off of your grades and your activities.
Mm-hmm.
Like a good amount is also based off of how much the college like thinks you're compatible with them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like it's kind of based on you like as a whole. And I feel like honestly, it doesn't matter what college you get into, you're still going to college
Mm-hmm.
if that's what you decide,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's community college available. You
Mhm.
can always transfer. It's always an option. And honestly, if you're aiming for like the big schools, you need money for that too.
Yeah.
That's just yeah.
Unless you're like the one, like tiny one out of a million. But yeah, like,
Yeah.
and man, if I had a quarter for every time a school was like, we're looking for a holistic, like well-rounded student, bro. It's like
nobody's that well rounded.
Yeah.
Nobody's
Like,
that
what even
well-rounded.
defines well-rounded?
That's what I'm saying. Because some people, they like excel academically. Like
Mhm.
they are so good in the classroom,
Mhm.
but the second you tell them to do like something like volunteer related, they can't do it.
Mhm.
They have zero social skills. Some people like
Damn, she
I'm
harsh
sorry,
with it.
I'm exaggerating
or
a
just
little
like
bit.
event planning,
Yeah,
or
like
that type of
they're
stuff,
really
yeah.
bad at like communicating with people, but they're
Mhm.
so good in the classroom,
Mhm.
right? And then there's other people who are like little social butterflies.
Mhm.
They can do like volunteer events. They have a ton of extracurriculars, ton of clubs,
Mhm.
but like they're taking like baseline classes, but
Mhm.
they're still like doing pretty good in them. And then I feel like those are the people who are like, oh, like my classes aren't that good, and they're stressing over that. Or like the other way around again. They're like, people are like, oh, I'm taking top classes. I'm probably like top 20 like class rank,
Mhm.
but I have zero extracurriculars. And when they're
Mhm.
filling out like their apps, they're
Mhm.
like, I have one thing down for extracurriculars
Yeah.
in
That's
freshman
me.
year.
Girl.
Oh.
no.
And they apply for like all the top 20 schools, and then when
Yeah.
they don't get in, they're like, you know, super disappointed
Yeah.
because I mean, also this is just a lack of like education and lack of like, yeah, because schools tell you like, oh, you just need like good grades and blah 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 blah, but that's really not true. And I feel like a lot of people, like their parents tell them like, or their parents make them take like super hard classes and then don't let them take like extracurriculars because they think it's like a waste of time.
Yeah.
And then, you know, when they get more educated like online in like junior year, senior year, they like hold a grudge. They're like, why didn't you let me do extracurriculars? Why didn't you let me do sports? You know, that would have looked so much better. And I feel like part of it is just like the parents are not that educated on it. Because I mean, the college application process is constantly changing, and like I feel like we're not changing as fast. Like the system's not changing as
Okay,
fast.
wait. Speaking of that,
Mm-hmm.
in English on Friday, like chat GTP,
yeah. GPT.
GPT, whatever. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
We were reading like an article on it.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, in a few years, college like essays, like personal statements, are gonna be gone because you can just like make that with the bot.
I mean,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah, like that's like in like a few years, like we're stressing so much about like essays right now. In
Uh-huh.
a few years, they're probably gonna get rid of that just because like the amount of people that can just go out on there and be like, write me a personal statement.
But there's
Mhm.
like things to detect if
Yeah.
AI
There's
wrote it or
there's
not.
GPT-0, which detects whether you use ChatGPT. I mean, as quick as the technology for ChatGPT came out, there's going to be something that counters it. And
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
colleges, in the end, most of them are money-making profit institutions.
yeah.
So they're for sure going to try and find a way, like really quick, and be able to detect those personal statements.
Yeah.
I kind of... Oh, sorry.
Curious.
Huh?
Sorry, I've never used
GPT.
Oh, I have.
I have.
Sorry,
Stop.
say it again.
GPT.
GPT.
Yes.
I've never used it before,
Mhm.
but I've heard so many things about it,
Mm-hmm.
mostly from my mom, who's always telling me to use it for assignments I can't get done on time. Whoa! I never do. That's why I said I never used it before. Don't come at me, my teachers. But like, I've never used it before, and I'm wondering, is it able to pick up on like the type of emotional side that humans have? You know, because when you're writing college essays, most of them, some of them, like really draws from personal experience, and like that has a lot of emotion to it. Have you guys seen any like way that it does that, or is it mostly just like, you know,
Question
bot?
No, the way
statistics.
AI answers questions, their data is taken from people's writing, so they do have a certain amount of emotion in there, and you can give the bot a prompt to be like, I want you to, you know, be emotional, be like emotionally sensitive. I want your writing to be like pretend you are this person and this person are these characteristics, and then the bot can come up with it. Of course, it's not going to sound like a student writing, because there won't be like grammar mistakes, there won't be like, you know, there's like tiny imperfections that when we write it comes out, and then when you're using ChatGPT or other AI like writing resources, it doesn't do that. But it can definitely like write like a, you know, like kind of good personal statement, I feel like, because the AI is what like well developed, you know. So
I don't think it's not new technology, is it?
it's not.
Yeah, exactly. So
It's just now
been, like,
open source.
really developed.
But I kind of want to lead the conversation back to like the mental health part of the application process, because like let me drop some more statistics. Okay.
Go for it.
So then I was looking on like cdc.gov, right? And in 2018 to 2019, they polled adolescents aged 13 to 17, so like teenager age, right? And 37%, which is a very big amount, said they had persistent feelings of sadness or hopelessness. And the National Institute of Health said like 1 in 3 adolescents aged 13 to 18 will experience an anxiety disorder. And from 2007, or between 2007 and 2012, which, you know, was a while ago, they said that anxiety disorders in children and teens went up by 20%.
Wow.
Which I honestly think, like, it sounds right. Like, I feel like so many people now, like, around me have a lot of feelings of anxiety, and they have, like, anxiety attacks, or they have, you know, like, they have really bad depression, and it's so interesting. I mean, obviously, like, social media, phones, those are part of the cause, since we're exposed to so much news, and we're exposed to so much around us, like school shootings and stuff. You used to, you know, that didn't happen before, and now it is. And I feel like all of those outside factors also, you know, put extra stress on us, even though you don't, like, it's not directly making us stressed, but it makes for a more hostile working environment, let's say. Yeah.
I feel like I do see it every single day. I always see someone like with so much anxiety, and most of it comes from like school or like college. I feel like that's one of the topics that's always on someone's mind, and it literally ranges from different age groups, and it's crazy because you would think that it only is seen in juniors and seniors who are like in the midst of, like, in the center of that process. But then I go talk to like a freshman, sometimes even an 8th grader, and then you can, like, they'll say like, oh yeah, I'm doing this and this and this because like my mom or like my counselor told me to start working on it. I'm like, damn, enjoy your life. Like, what are you doing? You're 13.
You'd be like a 15-year-old, like, oh, I'm doing a internship right now.
Like, what? Like,
it's kind of crazy. I mean, well, it's gotten so competitive. That's basically what you have to do to stand out.
Yeah.
There's, you know,
like they be colleges be expecting you to be 12 and like an entrepreneur.
Yeah. They're like, have you gone on Shark Tank? Have you, you know, like,
Shark Tank.
Have you done an international like business
World's Got
competition?
Talent?
Like, yeah.
No, literally.
It's crazy.
It's like, did you meet the president?
Yeah. POTUS?
Yeah. Okay.
Hey. This girl's
is it rolling?
She's serving you some ASMR.
I think it's rolling. Munch, 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 munch. It's just me. It's really hot in here.
Yeah, it is hot in here. I'm sorry, guys.
Sunshine
It's okay.
eyes.
No.
I'm not about to turn on my
Blinding.
AC
No, it's
the
okay. It's
whole
okay.
hour. So no, I'm talking to the camera.
Oh.
Hey guys. Hi. Okay. I was saying I'm really curious about sophomores and freshmen, or like just like the people younger than seniors and juniors, because I'm like, I know I went through that process already. I was one of those kids that was stressed by freshman year about college, but I really like, especially since it was like during quarantine, and I didn't really talk to anyone about it, so I felt like I was the only one who's worried about that stuff. But I'm probably, and I know I wasn't.
Yeah,
I saw
yeah.
your face. I know
Yeah.
I wasn't. But like, I'm curious, how many people thought about that, and like how many people.
It really depends on who you're surrounded by.
That's true.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's
like
like
that
bulk
too.
of a lot of
Yeah.
answers.
But I'm curious about like our school. Like,
Mm-hmm.
do you know? Is there a lot of people?
What is
who are
the
stressed right now?
trend?
What's the trend? Yeah.
Yeah.
Stress trend.
Stress trend.
I think. What do you mean like trend? Like what people talk about?
Yeah, like how many people are stressed about college? How many people are not thinking about it? Are people doing like internships? Are they, how much are they putting on themselves in preparation for the college process?
I feel like it's half and half. Like
Mhm.
there's like one half that like is doing everything they can. They're going to all these competitions.
Mhm.
They're taking these super advanced classes, like 4 AP classes, self-studying AP classes, and then there's the other half that like they're just like going along with it. Like their main goal is just to maintain a good GPA. They're not too worried about which specific college they want to go to, what specific major they want to go into.
Mm-hmm.
And not gonna lie, they seem a lot less stressed than like the other half.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I see like people in my math class who are like getting like 95s and above on every single test,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're going on to these STEM competitions, or like they're starting their own like clubs and everything. And then like it's like sometimes like when you're like it really does matter who you're surrounded by, because when you like talk with those who like maybe do more than you start feeling like anxiety, and you're like, oh, what if I can't keep up with these people? What if like they distinguish themselves more, so colleges are more likely to choose them.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also like it's like very like, I guess for me personally, it's like very bipolar. Like sometimes I would be super stressed about colleges and like my grades, but other times I'd be like, everything happens for a reason.
Right. I love
like,
that.
yeah.
I love that.
I got a
That's
70 on
true.
a math test. It's okay. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I guess it's just very bipolar for me, like,
Mhm.
personally.
I mean, the situation or the kind of like scenario that everyone always brings up is like, are you gonna think about your, like 70% math grade in your
Exactly.
when you're like 40 years old? Which honestly, I know it's like very like cliche, very cringe, but it's true. Like in the long run, as AP Econ would say, in the long run, like it really does not matter. And yes, you can't be like flunking all your classes, right? Which will lead a harder time for the college process.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you should really use that, or like everyone should really use that, like it won't matter in like 40 years, that mindset, to just calm themselves down, especially if they get anxious really easily.
It's mostly like the small things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because, okay, we'll come back to this topic, but I don't know if it's my senioritis.
Mm-hmm.
But I got a 40% on my stats test, and I could not care less. I was like, oh, cool.
That is definitely your senioritis talking.
Yeah.
Because I would care.
No, like, literally last year, I would have cried myself to sleep that night. But when that happened this year, I just like looked at the paper and I was like, okay, cool. At least I got 40% of the questions right.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Well, I think there's this like thing of like, it wouldn't matter what I get now.
That's
like
true.
for seniors, it's like you already turn in your college application, and yes, they could rescind your like admittance, but there's this like whatever type of mindset.
Yeah.
And so many seniors, like of my like so many of my senior friends, and it's so interesting. Like it's I'm a bit conflicted because personally for me, I don't view the things I did in high school as like, I didn't do them for college applications. Like, the reason why I try in classes, the reason why I try to get good grades is not for college like admissions. And I think for people, it just means that I'm more like self-achievement oriented, while other people are more motivated by, you know, a goal, like a set goal. And, you know, it depends on the person, but it's so interesting to see that trend of like people just like, whatever, I won't listen in class, I'll sleep, or stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh my god, literally. I've seen.
Don't say you have junioritis.
I do have junioritis.
No,
Yeah, if you put
it's bad.
if
No,
you
do
put
not.
the term upon yourself, it's gonna happen to you worse.
That's
So
true. No,
just
I
say
don't have
I don't have
senioritis.
senioritis, I don't have junioritis, I
don't
don't have
have
sophomore-itis.
I can't go back from where I am though. I'm like 6 feet under.
Okay.
I'm dead.
I need like a wake up call. That's the thing.
You do.
Mhm.
I got that wake up call last semester.
Haven't.
You don't have to
I still
expose your
regret it.
grades.
I'm
You
not,
don't have to
but, like,
expose
I
yourself.
regret it still.
Mhm.
But I like got a wake up call and now I'm like grinding. But right now I'm like not really grinding so well. I'm kind of like grinding, but like a little falling back on the grinding. I'm like getting a little slow on the grinding.
Okay.
But like
okay.
I'm still, like,
Okay.
grinding
2
enough.
steps forward, 1 step back.
No,
I got you.
but it's hard. It's really hard. It feels it doesn't feel great, and it's stressful. I really wish that colleges don't, not even college, just like our society
Mhm.
Yeah.
doesn't view you based on what college you went to.
Yeah.
To be fair, a lot of students and a lot of parents think like, oh, you know, there's that like meme of Asian parents that are like, my child went to this, and then they're like,
Oh,
my
yeah.
child went to that, like Harvard, blah blah blah, right? There's that meme. But I think like when you're looking for a job and stuff, it really, I mean, yes, they look at your school, but it's really based off of what opportunities you took there, like how ambitious you seem. You know, it's not the name, because they know that there's bad people at Harvard and at, you know, a school that's not as like name college, right? Also, I wanted to talk a little bit about like the financial stress of college, which I know like there's the rising cost of college is making so many people like not want to go or so hesitant to go, because if you don't have like parental support, if your parents haven't been saving up for the past like 40 years of their life, you're probably gonna be in student debt after college, unless you go to, you know, community college, which is a really good resource. But like, you know, I was looking and it said like, let's say you go to UCLA, obviously there's like really high cost of living, but there's like, it's like minimum $40,000 a year, right? So that's $160,000 for 4 years, and that's actually crazy. Like
Yeah.
with interest, you could be paying off like okay, I don't know, because I don't know like bank stuff, but you could be paying off.
Don't make it more
Robinson.
complicated. Oh my god, it is.
Eli!
You wanna go?
I don't even know he saw us.
He did.
Okay, sorry, our friend just walked past to go to the gym.
We go
But yeah,
gym.
like it's literally crazy how, you know, these private institutions are taking so much of our money and aren't even providing like the best resources and the best facilities. Like $160,000 for 4 years, not including any like personal like that. Like it's a bit, they include a bit of personal spending, but it's really not that much. And it's like how is anyone supposed to afford that? Like
Yeah.
only upper class people can afford that, basically, right? That's how many cars? That's 4 cars. Like, that's crazy. And it's crazy that, I mean, a lot of students are probably feeling the anxiety of like the burden of like, my parents say they can pay for this, but I'm like taking so much from them, and they have to work extra, they have to like spend less on themselves and save up for me. And like there's that entire burden that also contributes to like declining mental health in people in the college application process, because or you're like, oh, after I graduate, I'm gonna have to work like 10 years to pay off my debt, and that's like insane. That's insane.
Yeah.
It's like the impending doom of the future. You're
Then
like,
I think that's also why like you really shouldn't base your self-worth on the college you go to, because some people they are so much potential, but then they just can't go to like a top college because they can't afford it. So then they go to just a cheaper college, but they're still like the quality of that person hasn't changed.
yeah.
So that's really why I don't think the name brand of the college is important. It's more of the the student body of that college.
Yeah.
Like
Or it's how you make of that opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know someone who just paid off her college debt,
Woo!
and she's like 32.
Oh.
She's like early 30s.
Oh.
Like,
Ooh.
and no, she told me this. I think she told me like last year. Like, she has a kid and everything. She's married, and she was like, I just paid off my college debt. Like, I'm done. And I was like, I don't want to go to college anymore. That's scary.
Is she in-state or out-of-state?
I think she was in state.
A lot of people like 30s, 40s, they're still paying it off.
It's not like she's working like a really, really high paying job. If you were, I guess that would help pay it off quicker.
It's like a regular
But she's
job.
working like a regular, like I have enough to like feed my kid, enough to like have a house. Yeah. Like I have enough to spend on on anything if I like leisure money, you know? But she's not making enough to like raise an army. But that's what I'm saying. Like if like an average person, like you're gonna be paying off like your college debt for a while.
For like 20 years.
Yeah, and she didn't have that much support from her parents because they were like immigrants,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So they were trying to support themselves while like kind of sending a little bit of money for her to go to college, and everything was probably off of like financial aid and like scholarships here and there.
And it's so stressful because you think about it, you like just turned 18, you're just like a legal adult, right?
Yeah.
And then now you have to make the decision of like, am I going to be a slave to this college debt for the next 15 years? Or do I choose a path? Like, you know, you can't foresee the future. You can't see, you know, what your paths are gonna be in from each college. But like, it's crazy. You're like 18. You're gonna have to be like, do I go to this college and then do I have to pay it off for like the next 15 years? And you make like a life-changing decision there, and it's insane.
I mean, the good thing is like financial aid is like, I mean, some schools are generous. Like for Riverside, for me, I just checked mine this morning. I got almost enough to cover my entire tuition.
Woo!
Oh my God.
So if everything else goes to crap and I don't get into any other colleges, that's the one I'm going to, just because I'm barely like paying for it at this point. You know?
Yeah, and that's a really good incentive for you to go.
I think that's what a lot of colleges do, though, especially like the lower ones. Like they're like, they want to like draw people in, so they give you a lot of financial aid. And
Right.
like, you're like, oh, technically I'm not even paying for this at this point. You know, it's just like my day-to-day money. Yeah.
Dang, that's good for you.
really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's weird because there's this like, I don't know if this is true because I don't have any like data backing it up, but like, you know, people on the lower end, they get the financial aid they need from the college. People from the upper end, their parents can pay for it, their guardians can pay for it, and then there's a big group of people in the middle who are they're not rich enough to be able to pay off their entire college tuition, but then they also aren't like the need-based students from colleges, and like, you know, they're just left with college debt. Not saying that people on the lower end don't have college debt, but like, you know, there's like a big disparity there of like, people are left unsupported by the system.
The people in the middle, like, they do get some stuff, and then I feel like they'll open their financial aid like letter or whatever, and they're like, oh, I got money for college, and there's just like a few thousand sitting in there, and they're like, 3,000, like, have fun. See what you can do with that. Like, that's not gonna help.
2 courses?
Yeah,
Great.
exactly.
2 units?
Yeah. And it's also like based on the school too.
Yeah.
Like, I know UCR is known for giving like a lot of financial aid, and then if you would just apply the same person to like UCLA, probably give you a few thousand too.
Which is crazy.
That would
'cause-
help.
Yeah, it doesn't help at all.
I mean, it helps like a ton.
Yeah, like
but
it'll get you
it's
through a few
barely-
classes.
Yeah, or maybe like a few months of like a certain bill, but like that's it.
Yeah.
Do any of you have siblings in college right now?
Mine graduated already.
My sister graduated last May, but she went to UCSB. It was, I mean, she she got a communications major, but she's not working in a similar field. Like, I don't know. I think I'm lucky enough that like our parents are able to pay for both our college. So I don't have to, like, my stress isn't worried on financial, but like there's still so much stress. And I'm someone who's like really carefree, and like I don't really care about college that much because, as I've said before, like, you know, I can go so many paths, but like let me turn this on. Never mind. Ignore that. You guys are really dark right now, but
Can you see my cheeks flaring?
You look beautiful, Bella.
whoa.
Oh, alright, fine.
I have a brother
Damn.
who's a sophomore in college right now.
Oh, where?
UC Berkeley.
Okay,
Whoa,
well,
that's where
Whoa.
my brother went to.
Okay,
Okay, wait,
honestly,
do we have
Berkeley
to
is
stop
such...
reacting like that to like like aren't we perpetuating like the social like
Yeah.
ooh, you know?
Berkeley, okay, honestly, our school is such a feeder school into Berkeley, though.
Oh my god, so many people got into
Like
Berkeley
last year,
recently.
I don't know what the proportion was, but literally every person that I knew, like every other
No,
senior that I knew,
literally.
got into Berkeley.
Mhm.
At least got accepted. And it's not like they had to go, but like they got accepted into Berkeley. And I was like, isn't the
I feel
what's
like
the acceptance level for Berkeley?
I feel like it's been like that for a while now. Because back when my brother was here, and that was like 7 years ago,
yeah,
he was also saying that DB was
a feeder school.
the
Well,
future
it depends on the year. Like it's super weird. Like every year changes.
Yeah, I don't
but
think
like
when my brother was. I don't think a lot of people got in when my brother was
mhm.
applying.
It's just
Don't
different
they
every year.
rotate
year.
like in-state, out-state?
I heard schools do that.
Yeah.
It matters like the program you're applying to. 'Cause
Oh,
some
right,
schools
right.
have programs that are really competitive, so
Mhm.
there's like a lower chance that you get in.
Mhm.
What do you
Business
do in those?
admin.
Computer science.
Oh.
Okay, yeah.
See, my brother was
STEM
a
majors.
business guy,
Business is hard.
but then he went to comp sci.
Oh.
Okay.
So what's your brother's experience? Do you know, like,
With college application process?
college applications and just like how it's affected him now? Are there any lasting like stressors? Like, you know, because a lot of people like they go to college and then maybe they're like, oh, was this the right choice or stuff like that? Is there any thoughts?
I've like never seen my brother get stressed over anything. He's always like
Whoa.
monotone. I'm like, how do you even do it?
Uh-huh.
And he's always been like a straight A kid and like the STEM son of the family.
Good job.
Yeah, go
But then,
ahead.
and then like
job, yeah.
I asked him like the other day, are you doing like how are your classes? Like how are your grades? And I'm like, do you have all A's? And he's like, not even close. Like what? Like
Yeah.
you were like super good in high school, and then like him saying college is like really hard for him. Like that scares me too. Like I wasn't his level as he was in high school. I was like, what am I gonna do when I get into college?
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah.
There's this big like a group of people who haven't had to study or try hard in high school, whether that be due to their own like book smart or like taking easier classes, and then they get into college and it's like they don't know how to study. Like
I don't
I'm not
study.
saying your brother is that, right? But there's
Good luck,
like
girl.
there's a lot of people that's like they don't know how to study. They don't know how to. They don't. Their mentality is so like, oh, I'm indestructible. Even if they don't think that, it's like I'm speaking from personal experience right here. But like sometimes I'll be like there'll be a chapter that I don't understand, and I'll be like, I don't even know how to approach this, like, because before in middle school and whatever I didn't have to struggle, and then I feel like when I get into college it'll be like a complete like mental break, because I'll be like, for the first time I'll be like, these classes are beyond my comprehension. And then I mean also the grading scale is different, but like still it's like
Yeah, I think to the people that are like have that mentality, like if your mentality is, oh, I just won't do good in high school because I don't plan on going to a good college anyways, like that's not a good mentality because high school is a place where you build up good habits, and then those habits are what help you thrive in college. If you're gonna be like, oh, I just won't do anything, you know, like
Other side.
What's she doing?
Sorry, the
Here?
sun's in my eye.
Is that
Yeah,
okay?
that's perfect.
If they're like, oh, it's fine, like I'm not gonna do anything great in college anyways, but then you go there, you don't have good habits or anything, you don't know how to study, you don't know how to, what else is there? Like time management. I know that's
Yeah.
like a big part of everything. You hear time management everywhere, or like how to
Problem solve.
There's just
problem
like that
solve.
mental struggle with yourself of like,
Yeah. You can't process.
I'm struggling now. Am I getting dumber? Am I getting less intelligent? And how's that affecting their self-esteem and their self-worth and how they view themselves?
Honestly, you gonna sneeze?
Sorry, I burped.
Okay. I know there's like a question going around. Actually, it's been going around. It's always been going around. It's like, why do we take like math classes if we're not gonna be majoring in whatever?
Oh, yeah.
Or like why math in general? Why don't we just stop at like algebra 2 like everyone?
Oh,
You know,
people are like, why do we have to learn the unit circle? We're not gonna use it anyway.
Exactly. But like the mentality like behind that for the people who like did propose this is like it's teaching you how to problem solve.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like it's not just you're like nobody's gonna pull out a unit circle in the middle of like the grocery market and try to figure something like that's not gonna happen. Yeah, nobody's gonna whip out like a TI-84 calculator, start punching in numbers, right? And then but like
that's so
it's
true.
teaching you how to like
problem solve,
how to get from point A to like to B to C to D, right? It's
From A
teaching
to
you,
Z.
Yeah, it's teaching you how to like build on something in a way. I guess I feel like especially like math classes, you're always like building off of the last course you took, or even in like let's just say like trig, right? You're building off of the last chapter or like the last 2 chapters, or like literally the entire curriculum is building off of itself.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's teaching you how to like bounce back after struggle.
That's
you
true.
don't know how to do a math problem, then it teaches you to go back to it later or to find help, like seek help from someone, right?
And sorry, what are you gonna say? Also, like I think people sometimes in jobs, right, you're gonna do stuff that you don't think is necessary. You're gonna like your boss is gonna tell you, I need you to do this. It's gonna take like your entire workday, and you're gonna like think about it and be like, I don't need to do this. But then you just have to learn to accept it, and like that's the way the world works. And I feel like that's also kind of a way that these classes are preparing you, because you're not always gonna get what you want. You're not always gonna have you're not always gonna be able to use the process that you think is best. Maybe it's not the best, maybe it is the best, but I think that's one thing that our classes are teaching us too.
Yeah, and I think what really matters is like it doesn't matter if you're like an AP class or a regular class, you're a community college or like a brand name college. Like what really matters is that whatever you do, you're just like you're putting all your effort into it. Like you're doing it the best you can.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're not like over pushing yourself. You're still taking care of yourself, but don't like change your mindset to be like, oh, what's the point of this? What's the point of life? I'm not gonna use this in like a few years. That's like shouldn't how like you should perceive things. You
It's a
should
balance.
always like and like make the best out of what you're doing at the moment.
Look on the bright side.
Yeah.
The grass might not be greener on the other side. The grass could be greener on your side. You never know.
But there's still grass on the other side.
There might be a rainbow on that side too.
Oh.
I wanna. Do we think we talked about like parental pressures enough?
I think so, yeah. We touched on that
Yeah.
subject.
Yeah. Or
I did want to say, this was from a while ago, but I kind of wanted to piggyback off of quarantine. Like, that messed with us so much. Like, we lost a year of opportunities. We could have gone to, like, volunteer stuff. We could have, like, found new extracurriculars. And I feel like a lot of people, like, classes online, it really messed with them. Like, because they can't... they can't like teach themselves or like focus in like their own environment. They have to be in the classroom to like actually like process like what they're doing.
Well, it's interesting because it affected every year so differently. Like,
That's true.
Like last year, they got affected by like the actual college applications were hard because originally you were gonna become like a 4-year varsity student, like a athlete, right? And then now you're like not. And stuff like that. And then personally for us too, it's more like the exploration of high school and the beginning of your opportunities was not the beginning. Like, you didn't get us started.
No, I was planning on, like, starting everything. I was thinking, like, freshman year I'd settle in.
Yeah.
Like, right? Like, be open to, like, a bunch of opportunities. Like, get myself familiar with, like, things. Sophomore year, that's when I would, like, actually, like, start joining, like, just, like, taking on the opportunities. But then it's just, like, the whole world just shuts down. And then, like, trying to, like, get back on that junior year, it's, like, I don't know, it was, like, really mentally challenging.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. And then you only have a few months until you gotta start applying for colleges. And it's
that's
just,
if you start early.
Yeah, and then you're just like, what am I doing? I did start early, just because I knew I was gonna procrastinate, and I was like, I have to, like, send this in on time, because this is important. Not my assignments from English, but this is important.
She would have like 50 missing assignments. She's like, hey, don't worry about it. I'm doing college apps.
No, literally. You're like, okay.
Like, I wasn't even in high school when we had that year of online. I was in 8th grade.
Gosh.
And, like,
She's tiny.
yeah, I was in 8th grade. I wasn't, like, even open to, like, I didn't even know how many opportunities high school would bring me. Like, I wasn't worrying that much about that stuff. But it was mainly, like the mental health aspect that quarantine brought onto people. Like,
Oh my god.
my mental health, that's when my sleep schedule got bad. That's when, like, everything went
downhill from
Yeah.
there.
Honestly,
It all started from there.
everyone's life just, like, took a giant turn, I feel like.
Not just teenagers, just everyone in the world.
But low-key, I miss the times when Dalgona coffee was a thing.
Wait, that one was actually good.
That was
The
like
whipped
the
coffee?
whipped coffee.
I know what Dalgona coffee is. I'm saying, like, why is that
like,
relevant?
low-key,
Did you try to, like, hand whip it?
I did.
it did
I
not work.
know, because what's it called? My stand mixer was broken when that came out. So I took. I didn't think about that. In the moment, I was like, I'm just gonna get a hand whisk and try to whisk this thing up. It took me forever, but it kind of did.
My sister does, like,
kinda.
home cafe, so she has all the tools at home.
But I mean,
making it.
we got a new stand
Right.
mixer, so I'm gonna go try it when I get home now.
No, I tried
I
to do
completely
it
forgot about this.
without instant coffee. I used, like, the regular coffee, and I tried to whisk it, and it was not working.
Oh shoot! I think that's why mine wasn't working.
Oh,
good.
you did too?
Yeah. That's
This
funny.
just shows that not everyone has the skills to read directions correctly. Dude, it's such a pet peeve. Like, people are like, they ask a question, I'm like, it's literally in the directions. It's right there.
I feel like I ask you dumb questions sometimes, do I?
When people don't read
No
like
denial.
the excerpt before something and then they just go straight into that thing, I'm like, what the heck? Like, for assignments for bio, I know so many people, I'm reading the little, like, read this portion of a pogo, and then everyone's already answering the questions. I'm like, guys, you have to read this part first, you know?
No, they don't even read. They just
they
scan
don't
it. They
even
just
read
look
it.
for, like, the
They just
word, and
look
they're
at-
like, okay, look around.
That's working
Or
smarter,
control
not
F.
harder.
No, but then, like, literally, I was talking to one of my friends, and I was like, he was like, how do you do this? I'm like, well, if you read this part, you know, it would have told you. Like,
One of those
You're reminding me of, like, the nerd emoji, bro.
If you read that, you would know. Excuse me?
Oh my gosh. Basically, what did this podcast talk about? It basically talked about, don't be that stressed. You know,
listing now. Okay.
don't be that. No, this is a summary, okay?
Okay.
Don't be that
okay,
stressed because
summarize.
there will be so many different paths for you to take, and you really do not need to, like, feel like it's the end of the world just because you didn't get into the one right college for you, which is not true because there's many right colleges for you. Or if you're not going to college, that's okay too, or community college, whatever. Also, financial stress sucks for college because it's so expensive. Good luck.
Yeah.
What else
I
is
feel
there?
like there's so many, but I feel like there's so many like scholarships you can apply for, right?
Yeah, there is, but you know, it's
Money's limited.
It's-
as always.
time is money, and not everyone has the time to research all these scholarships, and you know, it's hard.
And there's so many like the scholarships that usually would, I think, have more money are like the essay ones. but then nobody wants to write an essay, so everyone applies to like the no essay scholarships, and they have way too many applicants, so the chance of you getting that one is small. So there's like there's really no way around it
If
unless
you're-
you want to sit there.
If you're tall, there's a tall person scholarship.
I sent that to you.
Yes.
What?
There's
Yeah.
a tall. You can find the most niche scholarships.
It's so weird.
I know we just said it's really hard to apply to scholarships, but please do. And also, if your parents are stressing you out, they might be super right or they might be super wrong. I don't know. Use your research to back them up or back you up. You know.
Do your own research. That's the most important thing. Don't be listening to everyone.
Oh, I agree.
Don't listen to like your best friend.
Yeah.
Because like, oh, she's my best friend. She probably wants the best for me. No, like I get
sabotage.
no. I get that maybe she does want the best for you, but at the same time, are you
You are not
completely
them.
sure that she knows exactly what she's talking about? That
Yeah.
she knows like
Yes.
is she actually spitting facts?
It's not her fault though. It's just
it's just
the circumstance.
yeah.
The
Also,
amount of times
'cause
I followed someone's advice and then I went to someone like an adult and they're like, no, that's not what you do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? Like I just spent all these years like
adults are not always right though.
no,
That's
like
true.
I'm saying adults, but I mean like my
Expert
counselor.
Yeah.
opinions.
I mean my counselor.
Oh.
But like
Whoa, she has a college
Shade!
counselor. Shit.
whoa.
stop.
Okay.
I'm
Anyways.
in a school where I am privileged enough to get one.
It's crazy.
It's okay. I want to.
Damn you.
That's a little distinguished. Don't be stressed if you don't have a college counselor like these two, because if you work hard, if you have ambition is attractive, okay? Like if you work hard, you're gonna reach success in some type of way. So don't worry about it.
That's right.
Don't be stressed.
That's right.
You can be anxious, just don't let it consume your whole life.
That's right.
Woo!
Thank you for coming to Raise Our Voices, where we talked about what's up with the world. Today we talked about what's up with the college application process. As you know, it was very stressful. Thank you, Michelle, for hosting today's podcast. Very insightful. She's very knowledgeable. You should like put your like socials on here or
Oh my
something,
gosh.
so that people can reach out to you.
Follow me at Michelle.O.Chan. Don't ignore the username.
She's had that username since like middle school, since like
I made
sixth
it, I
grade.
made it in 6th grade. Don't worry about it.
What does it even stand for?
It's O.O is a face.
It was the cutest thing ever in like sixth
like a-
grade. Yeah. But now it's just
People
Aw.
think I'm a weeb because they're like, oh, O-chan? Like, I'm like, no, Chan's just my last name, bro. Like, it's not a Japanese thing. You're being low-key racist, okay? Okay?
A boy.
No, I'm not doing that. You dabbed and you did that within one
boy.
podcast. Okay, stop. What's your Instagram handle?
mine is
Annie.
Annie.c and then Chen. There's an extra C in there.
Shout out your handles.
IISABELLA.LEEE.
This is why Michelle O.O.Chan is superior.
Mine is GRAESWEN.
I think this is like a generation
It's
difference.
Grace Wen, but Grace is just spelled differently. It's just GRAES.
It always looks like Gwen. Because you put G and then space Wen. I'm like, hey Gwen. Oh, JK, it's Grace.
I say like gays.
I just want to justify my username. There's too many Annies.
What she think like?
Okay, well,
Annie Chens.
that's your fault.
Yeah.
How
How
is-
is basic?
Let's wrap up.
No, there's so many like
You know what, Bella?
Chinese girls named Grace too. Like
Yeah, I agree. And Isabella.
What?
Isabella?
Oh, you know, I know someone that literally has like the same name as me.
Isabella is like such a basic name though.
You know, I was gonna be named Tiffany.
That's still a basic name.
Weren't you gonna be named Isabel?
People would tell me that I look like.
But like, no hate
Isabella?
because
Oh, my name used to be Isabel.
But what? Cute.
names don't define your identity.
I mean,
Moral
in,
of
in
the
a way they
story?
kind of do.
Moral of the story: don't get defined by societal norms. Create your own path.
Damn.
And that's how we're ending this podcast because this tangent went on for way too long.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.